Hello everybody, Excited Utterance here. My name's Hella, and today we have special guest in the house. And unfortunately, we don't have two special guests in the house. We usually, when we do a Tyrone Tucker stream, we have both Mr. Tyrone Tucker and his beautiful wife, Miss Lauren Jenai. Sadly, today we only have Miss Lauren Jenai. As much as we love her, Mr. Tyrone Tucker has been taken into custody, as you saw on the thumbnail. Sad, sad news, but that's what's happened. So I just want to welcome some people to chat. Hello, Sweet Tooth. You've changed your name, Sweet Tooth. Not Sweet Tooth Fairy anymore. Oh, no more fairies. It's a shame. Snivels. Hello, Snivels. Good to see you. Hello, Christine. Good to see you, Christine. You're lovely. Christine, you are, what's this? EU and chat and Lauren, my focus is for getting Ty free and getting him a lawyer and fundraise for him. I'm not joking around, people. Christine, you're just you're the sweetest thing. You're the sweetest thing. I love you, Christine. Everyone appreciates you. And I know you're not joking around. Okay, FlashFan85, great to see you. Great to see you. And John, you are just amazing. Thank you for spreading the stream around before we started off today. Ronnie, good to see you too. And Matt, excellent to see you. Becca Lynn, you're amazing. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything you do. And I'm sure that Lauren will be happy to see you when she comes on screen as well. Half Irish. Okay, let's figure this out. What happened? Oh, yeah, we're going to find out in a sec. Cool. All right, let's get going. Cool. Dali, can you have a look at private chat, please? Excellent. Okay. Pamela. Hi, Pamela. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. All righty. So just so you know, what we have going on here today is we're going to go through the backstory a little of how we got to a point where Mr. Ty Tucker is in jail. Just for those of you who aren't aware of this case, Tyrone Tucker, Franklin Tyrone Tucker, he has been to trial back in March. If any of you saw the trial, it was a big trial televised on Court TV, Law and Crime. Lots of streamers televised it or streamed it. Got big numbers because he's a pro se defendant, and pro se defendants tend to attract a lot of attention. But the big thing about Ty is he wasn't like a Darryl Brooks. He actually really did a very good job. He wasn't there to cause trouble. He was there to defend himself, and he managed to convince the jury, at least some of the jury, that there was reasonable doubt in his case. So he secured a hung jury, and even after the hung jury happened, unfortunately, the prosecutors decided to have another go. They had another go, and they went and pressed charges again, and now his trial is set for September. Now, he has been out on bond since 2009, and unfortunately, what's happened is he thought that he had a new judge came along. Old judge recused himself. New judge came along. He thought he had a judge who was going to be unbiased and fair. This is what's happened. And I'm now going to bring Lauren on screen with my co-host, Dali. I think that they're ready. And we will talk about why, unfortunately, that bond seems to have been revoked and he is in jail. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lauren, oh, I'll just unmute you.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So you guys have been just preparing a couple of things backstage, and it's so great to have you, Lauren. And I'm so sorry, by the way. I'm just so sorry that what's happened has happened. But yeah, welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Hey, darling.
I missed you too, Christine.
Yeah. Lauren, would you like to give us a little bit of a just an overview of what's happened over the last few days before we sort of go back to 5 days ago when a certain motion was put forth?
Sure. So, I got a text from Ty. He saying that there was a warrant out for his arrest, and he was very confused about that. It was over some non-compliance to his pretrial condition terms. And I think what happened was he missed an email from April 11th that told him that he was was non-compliant. So he didn't know that he was supposed to be responding to anything. So there's this gap that he just missed the email.
Right.
But, I was like, he didn't even know he got the email. So I said, Ty, you have to go back and look at through your emails. And so he did. And Pretrial Service is saying that he violated because he did not show up in a timely manner for his urine analysis 2 days in a row. And that was avoidable, and he's violated. Well, Ty said that's not true. And he said that he went the first day, and for some reason he couldn't test, and he didn't know why. And he showed up late before, or his registration's expired before. And he said, if it was that, they would have told me, I would have understood. He said, I did not understand what was going on. So Pretrial Services, he calls and tells them, and they said, no problem, go back the next day. So far in this scenario, he's compliant. He's doing what they're telling him. So he's not worried about anything. So he misses, he goes back the next day, is still unable to take the test, contacts Pretrial Services, and they must have said, that's fine, go back the next day again, because otherwise he couldn't leave his apartment. They had to have approved him going back this third time. And this third time he did test.
Right.
And so there was some confusion in the way things were worded in an article and what Ty was saying versus what Pretrial Services were saying. So I called them yesterday.
Yep.
And got that part of the story. They're like, no, he's here 3 days in a row. And he did take the test on the last day. And I said, well, what reasons are there for your registration expiring? And they're like, well, usually if somebody will show up, they could show up on time at the facility, but there's a line of people. And if it's even 30 seconds past when that registration ticket ends, you can't test that day. So, he could have been now some people would get up super early in the morning, show up and wait in line and, but that's not Ty.
No.
And I know over the 4 or 5 years or whatever it's been that he's been on under pretrial supervision, these things happen.
Yeah.
And he's always on top of it. He always calls the pretrial service guys. And up until trial, up until the mistrial, they praised him for his spectacular record of compliance. Like nobody's even been on an anklet this long that they've ever known. And I think,
wow.
And they bragged about it. And then all of a sudden after trial, totally different story. They started nitpicking at every little thing and had bad attitudes. And it was really weird to me. Like when that happened, I told him, this is weird, Ty. Like this guy's attitude went from super chill to not chill, like complete different personality.
So who are you talking about? This guy? Who's this guy?
I'm sorry. His pretrial services administrator.
Right.
I don't know the official term. I call
So
it.
is it the same? Is it the same guy from prior? So is that the same person
Yes.
who
the whole
used to
time.
brag? Right.
Yes,
Okay. So
yes,
now
yes.
he's changed his tune.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
So, you know, in this whole thing, you know, we decided it was best that Ty just self-surrender. Like, we didn't think he was going to be able to, you know, fight this necessarily. So,
No.
and definitely didn't want
to look
them
like
to
he's
come
hiding
after
out.
him, put him in a van, and have to go across country to get back there to Key
Yeah.
West.
Now do.
So, you know, Ty talked to his bondsman, and his bondsman gave him the advice: hey, you need to get on a plane. You need to tell me what your plans are. So, big missing piece of the puzzle, so that I can tell the state attorney's office that I am going to hand deliver Tyrone Tucker to self-surrender. Hand deliver him to Key West.
So just backwards a second. So Tyrone, he told them that he was getting on a plane.
He did not tell the necessary parties that he was doing that. And so he was getting advice to go self-surrender. He was missing the part of the advice where you needed to include your bondsman in the process.
Okay.
So, because I mean, it makes perfect sense. I think Ty was very frightened and confused, because it's not like him to make such an error. And I think he thought, because he posted online that he was self-surrendering and did all these interviews, that people knew.
Yeah.
And he told his bondsman, right? But the bondsman didn't know when he was showing up. He didn't know anything. So he didn't make the necessary phone calls to make it so that he did not get, you know, he wasn't a fugitive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's technically a fugitive because there was no bond anymore, but that if he left for the airport, they wouldn't come after him.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened is he had a ticket to Key West. I called the wrong freaking person. I didn't call the bondsman. I called Ty's former attorney and begged him to meet Ty at the airport in Key West. I said, Ty I want to make sure he's safe when he gets there, and that he has somebody present, and make sure he gets to the jail in one piece.
Yeah.
By the way, if Ty calls while we're on this, can I just pause for a second? If Ty calls,
of course.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just if that's okay.
Of course.
So yeah, so I mean that this part of it where he got arrested in Portland could have been avoided, in my opinion.
Yep.
So, you know, over the past, so then I you know, and then I'm like, this doesn't make sense about him violating. So that's why I, you know, called the facility. And then I went to the facility today to see if I could get copies of the documentation that said he was there doing this day, tested this day. HIPAA was the excuse they gave me for not being able to release those notes. But I'm going to talk to a supervisor to see, because I think he probably could fight this, given that.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has an opinion there. I mean, I guess he was late twice, but they knew that and said it was still okay. And then they're going to put you bench warrant out for your arrest with a $3.1 million bond. Hello, that's terrifying. And I think that $3.1 million bond is a message that you're not getting out of jail.
Yeah.
Before trial.
The $3.1 million bond was already there, though, right? Wasn't it? Like, wasn't it there? No. I mean, before he went to the airport.
Yes, with the warrant. It came with the warrant.
It came with the warrant. Yeah, it came with the warrant.
No, it came because he violated. So it's a new charge. So they deny he's no longer, his bond was rescinded or whatever it's called. The $75,000 bond was revoked. Sorry.
Yes.
It's been a long day.
That's it.
And then on the felony murder charges, that bond is gone.
Yeah.
The 3.1 is on the violation.
Like the urine analysis, missing that's what that's for.
So, okay. And I told the other guy, call everybody guy, the person at the urine analysis center, that's what happened, that he's been arrested and with a $3.1 million bond over being late for a test. And the guy spit his drink out into the phone. He's like, what? I mean,
it's berserk.
Higher bond than the original felony murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when he gets to the judge, then they'll.
Hang on, he's been to the judge already, hasn't he?
Well, the judge in Portland or the judge in Key West?
No, the judge in Key West.
Well, the judge is the one who gave him that bond. So I think that's a message. Don't you think?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because here's what happens. Not to cut you off, but normally what happens when if there was a question of a violation, Pretrial Services goes to the judge and says, we have to talk about this, basically. And there's been hearings. Ty had several hearings with Judge Jones over potential violations. And usually the judge, what he does is says, hey, pretrial defendant, you work it out. This doesn't have to come to the court. If you guys can figure this out, make peace, whatever, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's how Judge Jones handled it. Even when Ty did test positive for alcohol, it went in front of Judge Jones before any warrant was issued or anything like that. I mean, pretrial says he violated because he tested positive. Fine. The judge then can say, and what Judge Jones said was, okay, we're going to test you more often, more frequently. Not, I'm going to put you in jail.
Yeah.
Because after 4 years, you had some alcohol in your system. I mean, and maybe it could be argued that Judge Jones was too lenient. But this is life. People's chargers die and you miss appointments sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's something happened prior to all this. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, and it wasn't a big surprise.
We were all waiting.
At the end of the trial, Mansfield requested the bond be reinstated and had a little
or the gag order.
Yeah, gag order. He had a little crying fit because he was getting death threats. So his feelings were really hurt, and he didn't want people talking about the case. So, and Judge Jones said he didn't want to rule on it right then.
Yeah.
And some people have certain opinions about why he didn't. And I think one of them is the fact that the first gag order included me, which is actually not constitutional. It was a violation of my constitutional rights as a non-party, is my belief and other people's beliefs that I could have fought that. So I don't think the judge was real keen to reinstate that exact gag order. So obviously Ty gets, he's out of jail post mistrial, and he's vocal.
Just a little bit.
Vocal.
Yes.
And saying it like he sees it and exercising his new voice that he has because the gag order had been lifted. I mean, me too. I was talking about the case and we actually have every right to.
Yes.
And I think maybe it was, and because this is what part of the motion to reinstate the gag order said, that Ty said on some interview that I was going to do an interview with witness Todd O'Quinn, with whom there's a gag order. I'm not a gag order, a no contact order for Ty not to contact Todd or Todd to contact Ty.
Right.
Now, I didn't know, nobody's ever told me that no contact order would apply to me. But I've had some people who know the law and they're like, no, it is like a third party contact and it's part of that.
Like
I don't
family
know
members.
But nobody, even when Ty had attorneys, I mean, I asked if I could talk to Paula, and nobody told me I couldn't talk to Paula because of the no contact order, because I was not given a no contact order.
Yes.
So I didn't think there's any reason for me not to be able to interview Todd, one, but two, I never did.
Yeah.
And I actually never said that I was publicly. And maybe I did, but I never advertised it, and it never happened. So they put in this now it's because this interview is pending. The motion for the gag order to be reinstated is an emergency motion. Well, I guess the judge didn't see it that way because it still hasn't been ruled on.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's not too hard to go. They want to shut Ty up.
Well, how badly they wanted to shut Ty up. Let's have a look, shall we? Dolly. Yes, let's have a look. So this was 5 days prior to that incident with the urine analysis. So could we zoom up a little bit, please? I mean, we're thinking about doing a dramatic reading of this.
Yes,
yes, because it's quite angry.
Yes.
The state was quite butthurt over all of the live streams that were happening over on the Free Franklin Tucker YouTube channel with all of its 600 subscribers, and all of the however many people. How many people we've got in chat right now? 30 or
3.
so. Yeah, and look, I mean, over on AJ's channel, goodness knows, like, really, we're tainting the jury pool.
Yeah,
is what we're doing. Like, that's what's going on here. It's just shocking. It's shocking. And like, I'm an Australian, and I swear, like, I could be a juror.
Yes, absolutely. We all could.
We all could be jurors, the whole lot of us. It's just, this is shocking what's going on. It's just so bad. Anyway, Darlie.
Yes. State's emergency motion for protective order to prevent extrajudicial comments. Comes now Dennis Ward, Assistant State Attorney of the 16th Judicial Circuit of Florida, by and through the undersigned Assistant State Attorney, and requests this honorable court to reissue the previous protective order to prevent extrajudicial comments that was imposed on the state and the defense in light of the upcoming retrial of this matter. In support, the state submits 1. Prior to the first trial of this matter, and after a full evidentiary hearing, the Honorable Circuit Court, Judge Jones, issued a protective order to prevent extrajudicial comments and thereafter lifted it once the trial commenced. 2. Upon the announcement of a mistrial, the state requested the court to reissue the protective order on the basis that the defendant has been posting videos. And the defendant has been mean. He said mean things. He hurt my feelings, court. He hurt my feelings, judge. Judge. He called me fat.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah, he did. The court at that time did not move forward on the Ortiz motion made by the state, but indicated it would look into the matter if the appropriate motion was filed. Since the announcement of the mistrial, the defendant has continued to post statements, not only about the facts of the case and the activities in the first trial, but also disparaging statements about the state attorney's office, MCSO, the previous presiding judge, and the prosecutors that conducted the trial. Wow. They're really butthurt. How dare they?
Yeah, they are. They're pretty sore.
More recently, the defendant has started posting on his YouTube channel, Free Tanklin Tucker.
Tanklin.
That bastard.
It is sinister. Oh, look, the bastard. And look, there's even a picture.
Oh, how dare he?
How dare he with his 600 and something thousand. Oh, no, it's just 600.
Yeah.
Subscribers.
The defendant has indicated he will be giving weekly updates on the status of his retrial. No, Judge. No.
How dare
can't
he?
do that. How dare he? He says mean things. And will answer questions posed, which he did in his most recent postings. To date, he has had four live updates wherein he discusses the facts of the case, his various legal arguments. He attacks the state, the witnesses, and makes accusations of witness tampering, perjury, and prosecutorial misconduct. He also comments on how he can say anything he wants in the trial because he is not a licensed attorney and the court is not able to discipline him. The defendant has mentioned a new website he will be creating, which will have videos related to the case and documents that were not previously uploaded on his free Franklin Tucker website, the same website which was the subject of the first protective order. Additionally, according to the defendant, this website will also have an online store with shirts and hats people can purchase to help offset the cost of his legal fees. That bastard. How dare he? In addition to his broadcasts on his YouTube channel, the defendant also sat for interviews on other YouTube subscriber channels.
I was excited utterance and Dolly
come on.
talk.
Come on, you can't give us a little promotion here?
I was so annoyed I didn't get a mention.
No, can't post a link to our channel.
Yeah, please.
Just like he does in his live broadcasts. In the interview that is available for viewing, the defendant discusses the criminal case, the upcoming trial, attacks the SAO and MCSO and my weight, and continues to lodge his accusations of misconduct. The defendant has indicated he will continue to sit for interviews that will thereafter be posted online. In the defendant's last two live broadcasts, the defendant announced that his wife, Lauren Jenai, will be conducting a live interview with victim/witness Todd O'Quinn and invited people to watch the broadcast on the defendant's YouTube channel. Despite the fact that there is a no contact order in effect preventing the defendant from having direct or indirect contact through a third party with Todd O'Quinn. This interview is expected to take place in the near future.
Dum dum.
Hang on. A third party. That could be anyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't state what a third party is. Is there a footnote next to third party?
No, and I went back and looked at the no contact order, and there was nothing other than don't contact these witnesses. But
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's a legal term that I don't know all the implications of.
Yeah, right. Hey, Porcelain Thunder, how's it going? Remind me who Todd is, Lauren.
Todd O'Quinn was a victim. Witness to the crime.
And says it wasn't Todd.
And he saw the white male leave the scene of the crime, take off his mask, and he described that man as having brown curly hair and a certain height and weight, all of which information was left out of the probable cause affidavit and the arrest reports in the beginning of this whole nightmare, and has stated throughout that it wasn't Ty that he saw.
Yes. So he's a witness for the defense. Correct?
So far, yeah.
Yeah. All of the defendants, or do you want me to continue?
Sorry. Before we go on, also J-Rock says a third party is the entire world except Ty.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it could be anybody on Ty's behalf. Right, J-Rock? No. J-Rock knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Let's see. All of the defendant's social media activity pertaining to this criminal case, whether on his own YouTube channel or others, or his Facebook post, have already created a serious threat to the administration of justice. With this matter proceeding to another trial in the next month or two, the ability to find impartial jurors who have not heard anything about the case or have not heard or read any of the defendant's comments will already be difficult. As was needed previously, a gag order is necessary to prevent the upcoming jury pool from being exposed any further, prejudicial pretrial publicity about this case. To allow the defendant to continue to make comments on social media or any other forms of media will only serve to greatly prejudice the state and the defendant's ability to impanel a jury. And not only further, but escalate the threat to the administration of justice. Wherefore, the state respectfully requests this court to impose the previous protective order and order the defendant to remove all social media posts related to the criminal case since the mistrial.
What the hell?
I mean,
Dennis W. Ward.
even the first gag order didn't ask any of us to remove anything
Yeah.
off the internet. I mean, that's just crazy talk.
This is like our Prime Minister here in Australia. He wants like all of the social media platforms to remove all harmful content that he doesn't like, and all memes about him. So the worst way to get people to stop making memes about you is to tell them to stop making memes about you. Our Prime Minister.
Okay. The big elephant in the room here is
Mansfield.
Everything that funny. All of this is just creating more publicity.
Yeah.
Yes.
This $3.1 million bond, more publicity.
Yep.
Arrest in Portland airport, more publicity. I mean, if they want, Judge Jones actually understood this, and he kept things from becoming a circus. These guys, they're like, oh, Ty wants to be the dancing monkey. Yeah, me too. We're going to be all dancing monkeys. We're making a circus here. And I just don't see how that's, Ty's allowed to be a dancing monkey in a circus, but judges are not, and prosecutors are not. And so I don't know how they think this is work. I feel like they're stepping on their own feet.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So this motion was never actually got ruled on, right? But they didn't have to because they didn't have to. Right. So he's in jail. He's pretty well silenced now.
The gag order is for both sides. And this is a point too, because there is no gag order, and they are talking now. Like Dennis Ward's making statements, and he's saying that Ty's going to be taken in shackles in a van across the country. And, okay, are we talking about this publicly or are we not? And so I think if they put a motion forth, the judge is, I believe, responsible to rule on it.
Flashbang, good question. Can the state subpoena YouTubers like you and Dali talk to cross-examine you on interviews you did together with Ty? Good luck with me.
Yeah.
Although maybe via Zoom or something, I guess.
Well, they can't force you to do it, though. You could voluntarily, I guess. But as far as me in Arizona, I don't know Arizona law for out-of-state subpoenas.
But I don't know why they'd want to question you about the interviews.
Yeah, I don't have any.
The interviews are up. They can look at them if they want.
There's no question about you doing them. You did them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're done. They can see them. What else is there to see?
Yeah.
So,
fun.
Hella, no, she's in Australia. Yeah, like I live in a fake land. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And what's the point? And also, it's so I can try. Hella can laugh in their face over the internet. It's just, what's there to ask? And also, there's no gag order at the time that these things are happening. So it's nothing. They have no power of coercion in Australia. No, it's fun, this. But this is also why people ask me, why don't I cover things in Australia? For this reason. Because there are powers over me in Australia. So no, thank you. And our laws we don't have such so much freedom of speech in Australia, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. So what happened after that? Basically, about 5 days later, he misses the urine analysis, and suddenly there is this warrant, $3.1 million, this ridiculous figure. Like, no one can believe the figure. The figure is just astronomical. Like,
it's bizarre.
It's bizarre.
Especially since Ty went to Florida for his trial. He sat there the entire time. He sat there as the jury deliberated the fate of his life. He went into court the day the verdict was going to be read, and like a man to take whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's not running. Like Bond, the whole thing about Bond is to make sure that they appear for trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. He's already proven that he would.
Yeah.
And I get, not being able to violate your pretrial conditions. I get that. But this is not like in the interest of public safety, or he's not a threat to society. Like, how do you justify that? I mean, even I thought the first $2.5 million bond that we got was, I think we could have argued was excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Monroe County has $2.5 million bond cases ever. I actually am curious if that's one of the highest bonds they've ever put forth.
Well, I mean, at least in that case, it was a murder charge.
Sure. That's
Right.
how we can say, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is pea in a cup, as Hop Irish is saying. Correct? Like, that's actually what the violation is.
And he did eventually. It's just,
yeah.
It wasn't like he was avoiding it. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's a big deal, issue him a warning. Tell him you need to do this. You need to take it seriously.
Well, I think the judge, so here's the thing. This is another thing. So the judge gave him a very harsh reprimand in one of the hearings.
Yeah.
Basically telling him, if you anything, I'm putting you in jail. So it seems to me that this was a plan. And I think Ty fell into their little, like, I think they kind of started to figure out Ty a little bit, and like, we can puppet master this a little bit.
Yeah.
And he kind of fell into it. Because if I were Ty, which I'm not, and we'll never know what it's like to be in Ty's shoes.
Yeah.
But if I got that warning from a judge, I would have camped out outside of the facility or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but that's me. He's also fed up. Well, and also he has a motion in front of the judge that the judge has not ruled on, asking to modify his pretrial conditions and to make them more lenient because of his proven track record.
Yeah. And
here's the other thing, that prior to the mistrial, he was a star student of pretrial detainment.
He was.
I mean, they praised him. Oh, another weird thing that happened in the same time frame, all of a sudden there was like an accounting done, because I have to go get money orders every month and send them to Pretrial Services, and I do. And I got contacted right in this time frame, and they said nothing to me about the violation and saying that I had missed a payment. Now, that's not true. I didn't. What happened was I sent 2 payments in one envelope, and they said they didn't get it. And this is so this is interesting to me that I haven't really shared. So I do my counting. I'm like, I sent 2 in one. And I told him that. I said, can you please check? Because I sent 2 payments in one. And he's like, well, I only received the one. I didn't expect there to be 2 in there. But look, this has been over like 4 or 5 years. And this is a first kind of problem with this type of thing. I think we're doing pretty good. But please send me the payment in your next payment. So I had no proof because I didn't keep the receipt for the money order and wataver. It was like $120. I'm not going to bitch about it. But the fact that he said to me, oh, this is not even I missed it. He missed a payment. I mean, I think that's a pretty big violation.
Yeah.
But that
would have been a big deal.
Yeah. But he's like, you've been so good for 4 or 5 years. It's not, as long as you send the payment in by this date, you're fine. That's how you handle mistakes.
Yes. But no, there's something else going on here. There's no question about it. They've worked him out. They were looking for a moment when he would slip up, and they know that he can run a couple minutes late for things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible for him to run a couple of minutes late.
I mean, I think it's kind of telling that they caught him on that because it's such a big deal at the trial, right?
Yeah.
So everybody knows, we all know it was him late. Like, there's no doubt in anybody's mind Ty was late.
Oh yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
mean? They just had to find something that he could be late for, anything.
But I wanted to tell you something else about the timing, kind of politics of what's going on here too, because State Attorney Dennis Ward, Judge Morgan, and I think whoever the county clerk is, I forget his name, Maddock, I think, all three were up for election, but unopposed. And so just this week, just the same week that all this happened, they were sworn in and as elected officials unopposed. So they didn't have to wait till November. And so the politics down there are interesting because, like, if you like during election time, everybody's on good behavior.
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as I'm in the seat, I'm solid. I'm going to send this guy to jail. I'm $3.1 million bond. It's not going to affect my election. I'm already I'm seated. Now, also, there's been some speculation that he's kind of new to the whole Bubba justice system. And this may have been a request of his, like, we'll get you in unopposed, but you got to handle this problem we have with this guy. Because it really feels like there was I mean, I get the trial, right? They're butthurt about the mistrial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and, and I get that they don't want Ty or me babbling on about facts and such. But something happened that recently, something politically, that I can feel the difference. There's something, and it's terrifying. I mean, it is. It's so crazy this whole time. I mean, I think Ty and I keep still, even though it's illogical, somebody's going to fix this, you know, but that's not going to, I mean, I was talking in an earlier interview, I have no more optimism left whatsoever. And it just feels like they just keep digging their heels in and I don't know what kind of clout they have politically or what kind of money or what's behind this, but it's not normal. And
Colleen's back. Okay, so let's talk about Colleen just for a second. So Colleen Phelps, she was one of the investigating officers
or
prosecutors. Sorry, I get mixed up with the names over in America. But she was suspended, correct? And now she's back. A long time. Yes, and she's back now. Is she back in terms of on this case? Like she can be.
I think the timing of her being hired back is a threat. Is a thing. I think that doesn't go unnoticed. I thought for sure they wouldn't bring her back until after Ty's case was done, but so they bring her back. All this stuff, like in the same few weeks span, you know, and you know, I don't think that they could put her back on this case because, so this is such a long, complicated story, but she was removed from the case.
Yes.
Earlier. And so I don't think that they can bring her back.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was the reason she was suspended. Correct.
No, she was suspended for a different case initially. Right.
D. Newell. Hi, D. Newell. I'm going to just read her comment out. I don't think it's a coincidence just days after twice suspended prosecutor Colleen Dunn is reinstated by Dennis Ward. Ty has ended up where he is.
Of course it's not. It's not a coincidence. So I know I've been told that Dennis Ward hates me because in part Colleen was his golden child. And so she was not suspended because of Ty's case. She was suspended for another case in which she lied, but coincidentally, Kara Higgins, Ty's attorney, was the attorney in that other case, the defense attorney in that other case. And Colleen Dunn got caught lying to the court, and Kara Higgins was being called as a witness in that Florida bar case against Colleen Dunn. Now,
Yes.
so there's some crossover, but it wasn't Ty's case. But what the second suspension that Dee was referring to is Colleen Dunn lied to the court in an attempt to thwart my and Ty's marriage while Ty was in jail. And so I filed a bar complaint against her for trying to get in the way of our constitutional right to marry.
Yes.
And she was suspended additionally for that.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. I knew there was some connection.
We have a good rapport, me and her, you know.
Yeah, you're great friends. Old
Yes.
mates. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought there was some suspension in relation to you guys.
No, she okay, so there we had put in a motion to disqualify her, I think it was. And it was brutal because she's guilty of a lot of terrible things in this case. And we were going to actually, it was when I was in Florida, there were 3 hearings and I was supposed to get married. Because, you know, everybody said we could get married, you know, that whole thing passed. She didn't get her way there. But we were literally about to have the hearing to disqualify Colleen, where we would go before the judge and spell out all her wonderful glory of misconduct. And so all of a sudden, a bond was offered.
All of a sudden.
Yes, and that's why they offered a bond. Basically what happened was they offered a bond, and if we accepted the bond, this wouldn't go before the judge. This case against Colleen Dunn. And the judge, oh my God, you all know Judge Jones now. So he's like, so if we do this bond thing, we don't have to do this thing with the prosecutor. I mean, it was like, he did not want Ty to get this bond so bad, but even worse, he did not want the light shining down on the misconduct.
No.
And so we got the bond, and that hearing never happened. And honestly, you know, the funniest thing about that, it's not funny, but me and Ty, the attorneys kind of tricked us because we wanted the hearing. We wanted the hearing more than the bond. I mean, as much as we wanted Ty out, you know, we were like, no, F the bond. I want this out there. We want this hearing because we thought, you know, it would be like, oh, okay, this really is a bad situation. And, oh, this would, you know, get the case dismissed. Naive, but
no.
No.
No, it takes more than that, unfortunately, if they really want to dig their heels in.
That's how it felt. Like, we really, at that point, we're still feeling like, if you just judge, if you just saw, if you would just read, if you would just this.
Yeah. Becca Lynn said, wasn't it that hearing that all the cops showed up for? Is that the one?
That's it. So I don't know if you guys have ever, I think I meant to send you my Colleen Dunn bar complaint, and maybe I never did. I don't know if I sent it. It is
maybe early on.
Yeah, I should resend it.
Yeah.
So no, but that happened. No, that happened right after, Becca, because Colleen was removed from the case. Or at some point she was removed from the case, I think prior to this. So it could have been just prior to this, but yeah. They thought there was a hearing about disqualifying Colleen. So this was prior.
Yes.
And Colleen Dunn had texted to Penny Phelps that for the motion to disqualify, we have to pack the courtroom. And Penny says, oh, we will, right? In texts. And then there's a status hearing that comes up, and they all thought that was the hearing to disqualify. And like 25 cops show up to court. And clearly in an attempt to intimidate. But the thing is that Colleen and Penny lied to most of the people about why they were going to be there. So not everybody who showed up was there to intimidate. They thought they were there to show support for they thought Matthew Pitcher was going to take the stand, and we had been calling him a liar. And so they were there to support him. But their text message prove otherwise.
Yes.
But so yeah, that was in there somewhere, Becca.
Yeah. I just wanted to address something that Dean Newell just said. So it's still have not lost confidence in Morgan yet. I think it's why he stressed the importance of Ty following his conditions of release. Look, I don't know. I'm interested to see what he has to say.
Well, what do you think about the fact that he's not ruled on anything yet? I mean, Ty has a bunch of motions sitting there.
Yep. Correct. He hasn't ruled on anything yet.
Moving. And are there laws? Somebody mentioned to me there's a time frame. I think Ty told me there's a time frame, but I don't know if that's true. And judges have to respond, I imagine. And some
I don't know what is the time frame. I haven't heard the time frame yet. If they lied to the judge and the judge is honest, he will go ballistic over this. Yeah, you would think.
So that is another thing.
Yep.
That's a possibility. Okay. And here's the thing. That is, I still think the $3.1 million bond is ridiculous and telling, but pretrial could have lied. Or let's say left out the fact that he did return the third day and take the test.
It's possible.
And Morgan just said, really, after I admonish this guy, he does this?
Yep.
It could be. And that's
Head explodes.
Yeah, yep. I could totally see that. And that's why I wanted to get the paperwork from the facility, the testing facility, to show, like, we could go argue, hey, he messed up, but pretrial was aware of it. It was fixed. This doesn't justify that.
This could be a giant misunderstanding, and maybe, I hope.
The only thing that makes me say it's not is the 3.1. Because even you could issue an arrest warrant. I could see that maybe because technically he violated, so they have.
He did technically. Yeah, technically, yes. It's just that 3.1.
I think I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure he technically violated if he got excused. If you show up late and told pretrial, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and pretrial says you're fine, just do it tomorrow. Have you violated? I don't know the rules that well, but that sounds like you're complying to me.
Yeah.
Yes, but if the information that the judge has is that he violated.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's the other thing. I think the judge put out the warrant before receiving the affidavit.
Or all the facts in the case.
Yeah.
That's how it showed up on the docket. I don't know if that's factual.
Well, if it showed up on the docket that way, that's probably the case.
And so, because I was like, how could he issue a bench warrant without even having taken an affidavit? I was like freaking out about that. And then the affidavit showed up like a day or two later on the docket. So there's another thing about this, though. I mean, there's a possibility that a motion could be filed addressing the judge saying, hey, Ty was trying to self-surrender.
Yes.
It's going to cost the county a lot of money to send people out to get him and put him in a van and drive him back to Key West. Why don't you let the bondsman at Ty's expense come get him, hand deliver him to jail?
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds all reasonable, like something a judge would grant. But the bondsman said there's no way. Once somebody's in custody, that's not going to happen. But I think the judge would have the power to make that happen if he wanted to.
If he wanted to, sure. What happened at the hearing just now? Is it worth having a look at?
You have it. You should have it.
Yeah. Let's have a look at it. Sure.
Fairly short.
Yeah, it's very short. Let's have a look.
One sec. Yeah, I'm getting
You're right. You're right.
If you hear parrots screaming, that's because it's screen recording.
Okay.
$1 million mail. Can you find Joe Westover?
Page 2, line 2.
Yeah.
Appoint Westover, Mr. Westover.
Okay, so we're getting you appointed an attorney. You can waive extradition and just be, or you can consult with that attorney.
Starring Wall.
This will be Here's what I would recommend.
Gathering information about release or about,
We're discussing the options of,
I'm talking to the lawyer.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
We are discussing the options of whether he wants to waive or not.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's going to be an extended discussion, I'm happy to set it over for a day so he can meet confidentially with his lawyer, you know, in a more confidential setting.
Do you want to waive right now, or do you want to? He wants to waive, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Tucker, you've had a chance to review the waiver of extradition in the back,
Yes, sir.
and you've had a chance to discuss it with Ms. McMurtry, the lawyer in the courtroom this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right. And you're ready to sign a waiver of extradition, agreeing that you'll be transported from Oregon back to Florida.
Yes, sir.
And do you have any questions?
The only question I have, sir, is, it is kind of a timely nature. We're supposed to be going back to trial in September.
In Florida?
And I am pro se, handling this case pro se.
You mean
Florida.
not this case, this case?
No,
When you-
not this specific case. I mean, obviously the extradition. But the murder case, I did already take to trial and got a hung jury. We're going back to trial in September. And this is preventing me from filing motions, responding, doing the paperwork. So, I'd like to be able to get back down there as quickly as possible so I can get this in hand.
I'm sure that Multnomah County would like to see you get down there as soon as possible too. Obviously, Multnomah County to Florida is a bit of a transport.
Sir,
All right. Have you signed the waiver of extradition?
not yet, sir, but I will go ahead and do that.
All right. You got a date in mind?
They gave him no surface to sign anything on.
Ms. McMurtry, I see you didn't sign. There's a spot for counsel for the defendant to sign.
Sorry. I expected the DA.
You signed as a witness. All right, thank you. I witnessed the defendant sign this document, the waiver of extradition, and he testified that it's of his own free act and deed. So I'm witnessing it and signing accordingly. We're gonna set a date 2 weeks out, just to make sure you don't get hung up in our jail. That date won't hold you here when Florida's ready to come get you.
May
Does
21st,
that make sense?
9 a.m. JC3 Service Transport.
Right, so 2 weeks he'll be still there.
They have 2 weeks to come get him.
If they don't, then you'd be really
Right.
upset. You're right that the warrant would still remain in Florida. Yeah. Seems like you got a plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, P-Lola's
Good luck with your
mum.
case.
And what she was saying is they have 2 weeks to come get him. If they don't, he gets released. But there's still the warrant for his arrest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that sounds crazy. Like, okay, I'm released. They didn't show up. The cops are outside. Okay, we're taking you back to jail. Like, what a circle that could be, potentially.
Okay. It sucks seeing him there. He's not used to having a court-appointed lawyer trying to talk with him like that.
She seemed pretty cool, though. That woman
She did seem pretty cool.
She was working with him, and like I could tell she knew this was kind of a different scenario. And when he was like, I'm wait, she's like, he's waiting, sir. Like, and then at the end, sounds like you do have a plan. Like, I like the vibe there.
Yeah, she was okay. She was okay. Thank you, Benjamin Gray. Okay, yeah, P. Lola's mum, you might have to rewind a bit, love, because unfortunately, just a very, very quick recap. Unfortunately, Mr. Tucker is in jail. They put out a warrant for his arrest because he missed a urine analysis. Would you believe? And when I say missed it by 30 seconds or something, wasn't it, Lauren?
We don't know the details exactly. That's just it doesn't matter if he wasn't logged into the program, the computer at the right time, it gets kicked out.
Yeah, and $3.1 million bond. So there you go. And yeah, we're just speculating as to whether or not this is all in order to give him no way to speak about the case. And there was, what we went through was the motion for gag order, which came up 5 days prior to this warrant and his subsequent arrest. And the motion for gag order, which Darley read so well.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful, wonderful reading. Talked all about how Ty had been speaking on his YouTube platform and on streams like this about the case and about the misconduct that he alleges, about the dirty tricks. He's talked about it a lot on this channel and on other channels, about evidence regarding the case that he hopes to put forth at trial. And I mean, things that are, I guess, his constitutional right to speak about. There was no gag order at the time, so he spoke about them. And so the state did not like that. Mansfield especially did not like that. That they definitely wanted him to be quiet.
Well, and I think, Hella, also, even more than that, I think they are wanting to force him to take a plea deal.
Oh, yeah. They don't want this to go to trial.
They don't.
They really don't, because it didn't work out so well last time. And they don't want egg on their face again.
No, and for them to do anything, they're going to have to do something dirty. Like anything, like how are they going to win again with what they brought?
Yeah.
The first trial. And what if they're going to bring something new to the second trial? It's going to be dirty, and everybody's going to know. I mean, everybody's worried about the fact that Ty's going to be sitting in a bus over 3 weeks with all kinds of snitches saying God knows what, but I'm like, okay, it's obvious that, they're probably going to try. They could get another snitch to say Ty said something.
Yeah.
But how obvious would that be given everything everybody knows about this case?
Yeah.
How
far is, I'll say to you, I'll just say to you, I can answer for Lauren. There's no way he's taken a plea deal, right? I think I've gotten to know Ty well enough now. There's no way he's taken any plea deal. But I will not answer for Lauren in regard to the lawyer thing.
Well, even before, Ty was apprehended, we did talk, and obviously he knows that being incarcerated and a pro se defendant is
not good.
Exactly. And it's he knows that he can't defend himself to the best of his abilities in that situation. Yeah. And here's the dilemma is, and I'm sure other people face this, and I don't know how they deal with it. Ty's not going to be able to qualify for a public defender. I doubt. And we can't afford more attorney fees. What do you do? What do people, I mean, we can't be the only people in that situation.
Oh, you're not.
No.
What do people do? I mean, go pro se. I don't think that happens that much.
It's a shocking situation. It really, we see
Not
it was
everybody gets free public defenders.
no,
and even
there's
I
this
kind of-
gap in the system. It's terrible. Like either you are indigent and you get public defender, or you get completely you're made indigent, basically.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, you're all of your life savings, everything, all your family's life savings, it's all gone because you have to spend everything that you have, like lose your house, lose everything in order to defend yourself. It's all gone. That's what's happened with Zach.
Really?
And yeah, oh, absolutely, he's lost everything.
Yeah, they took his
And-
house and everything.
And now his family fundraising, we're all fundraising, we're all trying to, it's all give, send, go, we're all trying to get enough money for his appeal. And that's what it breaks my heart to think
How's
that
process
could end
working?
up being you guys.
Well, yeah, I
Pardon?
mean, that's obviously fundraising, but to be honest, like I would think that would, to do a good job fundraising would take a certain skill set.
It's so difficult.
Right.
It's so
I mean,
hard.
I'm smart enough to know I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's so difficult, especially once someone has been found guilty and they're in the eyes of the public a murderer. Like, how do you raise money for someone that people think is a murderer?
I can't. That's so horrible because, especially with Zach's case, because,
The man's innocent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how these people who just blindly accept things can look at that case and say he's a murderer. I mean, Ty's case too.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying
And Ty said, obviously.
obviously, but especially, I feel there's something really special about Zach's case, like especially bad. Like, Jesus, why?
It's like, to us, it seems crazy, but to the people who just go, "Oh, he's disgusting. He, did you see the way he stalked that woman? Did you see there was blood in the back of that van?" No, there wasn't. There was no blood in the back of that van. There was DNA. They found his DNA in the back of the van. There was a pinprick of something that was not even scientifically proven to be the DNA of that man in the back of that
Then
van.
it could be. Definitely could be.
Oh, that's the thing. It's just they were lied to. The jury was lied to, and it's exactly what is happening to Ty.
People, it's so sad because most people, if it's on, I mean, I had this in other chats and streams on this topic with this recent statements from Dennis Ward about what happened here, and they take it as fact because it's in the newspaper.
Oh yeah.
And Becca, I've talked about this earlier. Becca was like, okay, well, they're also saying Ty's a murderer in the paper. So why would you believe the fact that he just didn't show up for 2 urine analysis tests?
Yeah.
That wasn't the way they're painting it. It's not the way it happened. Whether or not he technically violated, I could give you a technical violation. The way they're portraying it in the media is he just blew it off.
Yep. That's it. And you know what? Also, the Innocence Project generally won't look at cases that have not been back through appeal. So haven't been through the appeal court. So people always say, "Oh, why don't you go through the Innocence Project?" Well,
They don't take it.
they don't.
Well, it's not only, it's once your appeals have run out, they'll take it.
Once
or
your
they'll
appeals
look
have
at
run out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things for me and Ty moving forward in terms of anything that we can do positive from this is advocate or help with these pre-trial situations to avoid these convictions that should not happen. Because there is nothing for pre-trial or even post-trial pre-appeal, people, and that's just ridiculous.
Honestly, like the only glimmer I ever see of hope is when like cases like this like go public prior to trial, and some like superhero defense lawyer comes in and does the work pro bono. Like sometimes, occasionally, things go well because of that. For example, we just recently had one in Florida where there was Vigilio Mendez. He was charged with, was it manslaughter? It was going to be murder, but it was attempted murder. It was manslaughter, and that man, he was as innocent as anyone could ever be. And
he didn't speak English. He spoke a rare Mayan dialect. He was in the country legally. He didn't understand the police officers. They stopped him because he was walking away. He didn't do anything. And the police, and then they got into a grapple and scuffle. And the police officer, a few minutes later, had a heart attack and died.
Yeah.
And they blamed him because the officer was overweight.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, and you know what? Jose Baez came along.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is? He's the defense attorney for Casey Anthony. He came and said he would go pro se. Not pro se, sorry.
Pro bono.
Wrong Latin term. Pro bono. And not only him, though. Many very prominent lawyers and public figures came out in support and said this is not okay. And the case was so tough. Benjamin
when
Gray,
the charges were dropped, the news media wrote articles about an illegal immigrant murdering a cop.
Yeah.
Getting his charges dropped.
That went viral too. That narrative went viral too. But that was in Florida. Yeah.
It's always Florida.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
So I'm actually surprised that most attorneys, I guess attorneys aren't business people necessarily, but like I would think that if you were a smart attorney, you would do pro bono work.
Pro bono.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
We've been saying pro se so much. It's just like
yeah. It's kind of like giving away free t-shirts to promote your brand. You know, it's like why don't you do some really cool work for a good cause for free?
Oh, they do. Yeah,
I know
like
they
some
do, but
do
it's
it.
like seems rare.
Some do it, and it does actually help their business. It helps their profile, and it builds things up for them. But I mean, it can be altruistic. But yeah, if they really believe in a cause, and I believe that in this case, Jose Baez saw this and saw that it was a terrible injustice, and spoke up, and the case got dismissed. So it didn't actually have to go to trial, and he walked away. But that's a wonderful story, but it's rare. Yeah. It's so rare. So much more often, it's the other way around, and people end up in prison for the rest of their life, or even on death row. And they just didn't do it. They just fitted up by the state. So anyway, Lauren, we're going to have to finish this up shortly. Tell us, what are the next steps? Do you know?
So, I mean, we're just kind of playing a waiting game with, when they're going to come pick up Ty. This is probably, it's not Ty. I have been in contact with Ty's attorneys. In fact, I had arranged for one of Ty's attorneys to meet him at the airport when he returned. So they're very willing to help in this situation. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to say too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were some motions filed by them in the near future. It's something we're talking about in terms of the immediate situation. And part of me, I mean, almost feels like all the immediate stuff. I mean, I think he's definitely going to be going back to Florida. He's going to be sitting in jail. Okay. We could probably fight some of that, but is it worth it? We need to fight the bigger fight and have him be able to make motions prepping for trial and whatnot. So
That's true.
that's kind of my thought. I'm not an attorney, and I don't know. But I don't want to get caught up on all, because I feel like that's also a tactic of the prosecution is, oh, they're going to get all tied up in this minutia and not be the eye on the trial. And on top of keeping Ty from being able to file motions and defend himself.
You're absolutely right. You've got it. They're like, oh, well, they're going to be all worried about getting him out of jail now.
Okay, so just as you're watching, we're not going to post bond. That's not going to happen. I don't care if you lower it to $10. Probably not going to take it. So that's not true. I would pay $10.
That's not true. But yeah, you're so right. They're so right. If they we'll drain their funds.
Oh, they've been trying to do that from day one. But this is definitely like, this will distract them real good. And yeah, I mean, I'm distracted. I don't even know what I ate for dinner last night, so
yes.
Yeah, I get their game. They're getting better at it. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Well, they thought it was easy before, right? But he got his mistrial. So no, it's not as easy as they thought.
They got him in a pretty hard place right now. It's not the worst situation.
No.
I mean, if he is in jail till trial, he's a strong man. He's a big boy.
He can do it.
It's heartbreaking, but he can do it. And I think the problem is going to be the representation, and somebody's going to have to get creative here with money and services at some point. And that's something. I guess that's what I'm going to be dealing with.
Okay, so you're saying that you are looking for representation.
Yes. I mean, Ty is no longer. I will not have. He needs help.
He needs help.
100%. He needs.
All right.
Help.
Okay.
So,
well, the word's out there. He's looking for help.
I mean, and I'm in talking with his former attorneys because they know this case inside and out. They care. They are not. They want to help. It's just like a matter of, a trial's a big deal to do pro bono. It's a lot of work, and they have families to feed and whatnot as well. So I don't know how any of this works really. And, but I believe in creative solutions. And I think, Ty is looking for legal representation. So it's not like the stubborn Ty that we had a few days before.
That's fantastic. Actually, that's really good news that he's willing. Okay, fantastic.
Maybe I should have started with that.
You're absolutely right that lawyers have to pay bills too, but this particular one is really a big case. It's going to go viral again. So,
and also they paid quite a bit of money already. I mean, and I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciative, because they also have been very generous with me and Ty. So, but they've made a tremendous amount of money on this case.
Oh, you're talking about the lawyers that exist currently?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. You
know what I mean? It's like, so I'm loath to ever ask anybody for help ever, especially financial help. And this is a humbling thing for me. So, and I'm just trying to balance it all. I'm like, oh, I already paid them a ton of money. They know the case. They could just do this, but that's not fair of me. And I know that's not fair of me. Like, I tell them, I'm like, I'm not asking that of you, but I am going to ask, what can we figure out?
Yeah, maybe if there's some way of like paying it off over time or something like that, or if, I don't know, not sure. But hit up lawyer, he's in Florida.
You're not the first person to mention him. So he's great. I watch his channel sometimes.
Yep. How much do they charge? About $50,000 a hearing, I believe. And I don't know what for an actual trial. About $250 or something. A bit more.
Wow.
Not sure. A lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. The thing is, you don't know. And I think that Ty's attorneys, when we're like, what does this look like financially? They are being responsible and giving some outlier figures. Like, it could be this much.
Sure.
Because you don't know if you're billing by the hour, and you don't know if jury selection could take 3 weeks. So that's a bunch more time.
Hmm.
It could be 2 days. So you can't, it's really hard to say what a trial is going to cost. It's my
It's
understanding.
incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult.
Unless you do a flat fee.
Unless you do a flat fee. Yeah. I mean, I'm only talking from discussions I've had with Zach's brother, Solomon. I don't know. And that might be very high. Might be able to do much, much better than that.
Benjamin, Papa Zagos is the guy you want. I do know this, and I might actually reach out to him because you are not the first person.
It would be fantastic to have him. It would certainly give it some a lot more
the problem.
visual.
But the problem with that is Monroe County is insular. They don't like outsiders, and it makes it an uphill battle.
True.
It really does. So I don't know.
It's not financially fair to you, Lauren. Nothing's financially fair to Lauren. No, none of this is. None of this is. Anyway, what's this, Daniel?
Lauren, I gotta go. I gotta go.
No,
it's
hi. Oh, say hi
Okay.
for us.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you. Oh.
No.
Oh. What's this? Lauren was there. Past run-ins with local LE and Ty and Key West. Seems like they had some kind of vendetta considering the efforts they went through to place him involved in the crime. Yeah, sorry, we can't answer that. But thanks for being here, Daniel. Oh, I can't help but feeling really sad considering that we've gotten to know Ty a lot over the last, we've interviewed him 4 times, and that's the 5th time we've had Lauren on stream as well. And yeah, it's just, when you get to know someone a little bit and then to have them to know that they're off in jail it's a bit tough. Yeah. It's a little bit tough. Yeah. Yeah. He invites people to email. Yeah. So I wonder if we can get that information. If we can, we'll pop it up on the community page, on my community page and Dali's as well. If you're on our Discord, then we'll pop it into there as well, Becca. How about that? Thank you everyone for being here today. It has been a really interesting stream. And Dali, great reading.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. I'm so glad that Lauren was here for the dramatic reading of the gag order motion. Yes. I was thinking about doing that, and then that happened. And not that I'm happy that the arrest happened, but to have Lauren here for the gag order reading was just awesome. Yeah, it's on his about page. Oh, you mean on Ty's about page on the Free Franklin Tucker YouTube page? Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you so much, Becca, for organizing this. Also, Becca is the one who organizes these streams with Lauren and Ty, or today just Lauren. So thank you, Becca, for all your support. We really appreciate you. You're a fantastic friend, member of both of our channels, and just wonderful supporter of Ty and Lauren as well. And one more thing, if enough of us email him and maybe get MLS too as well, it might get their attention. Email who?
Peter Tragos, I think.
Oh, look, I don't know. I might also talk to Steve Gosney because he's in Florida, and just see if he knows anybody. I know he can't actually do it. He is working on death penalty cases, but he knows a lot of people in Florida, in defense lawyers. So he might just know somebody. You never know. So anyway, that was that. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Yes, poke the Gosney. Absolutely. He's fantastic. He's top shelf. He's a top shelf person in my mind.
Oh, this is the merch shop link I'm posting now.
Oh, the merch shop link.
For
cool.
Ty. Gabby just sent that to me. Thank you, Gabby.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Hang on just one moment, everybody. Cool. Alrighty. Okay, that's about it. Thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out. I will probably be running. Tomorrow is what, your Thursday?
Yes.
Tomorrow's your Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll probably be running an update on the Micah Miller situation tomorrow. Let's not get too controversial. Yeah. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of an update on that. And or the Sebastian Rogers situation, because some things have come out regarding the potential sighting of him. So, but no drama.
No.
No drama. Zero drama.
No.
You'll play
no.
nice. Good for you. Yeah, poor Micah. Yeah,
Let's do a stream about avoiding drama.
Which would stream about avoiding drama. Now, facts only. So I've renamed that group the case of Micah Miller, and it's about facts only. There is to be no allegations or speculation in there. We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely play nice. But yeah, we'll be looking at that. Free Franklin Tyrone Tucker spread shop. I need to get some merch going, and you do too, Dolly.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we need some merch. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is.
Godspeed.
Love yous.
Hasta
Godspeed.
luego.
Hasta
Wiedersehen.
luego. Bye.